Hi, I'm Julia.
And I'm Sue.
Welcome to Sticks and Stones. Today on Sticks and Stones, we're going to be doing a book review. Defarge Does Shakespeare. We're also going to talk about what we've been up to, what we've made, and see the goodies that Julia got at Maryland Sheep and Wool.
Yeah.
Join us. So apparently it's a very quiet, cloudy day here at my house, and we are a little bit, yeah.
We should have coffee with this, maybe.
Maybe we should. It's a little.
We didn't even say what episode number it was.
I don't remember.
Episode 42.
Thank you. I'm not
That's my moment for the whole podcast.
There you go.
Episode 42.
Yeah, I don't know. My mind it's been crazy. I was sick last week. The kid's been sick.
Yep, we got the same thing going on.
Is your stomach or is yours respiratory?
Respiratory, husband, back spasms, all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, we had the stomach bug.
Yuck. That really takes it out of you.
Yeah, there's nice, highly infectious bug going through the school.
Yeah.
So, you guys are lucky you haven't gotten it.
We're waiting.
So, that was last week. You guys would not have wanted to see me last week. The pallor of death hung over me.
Oh, I have a knitwear for that.
Do you?
Ophelia's watery
Shroud
of watery death.
Yeah, we've been looking at the Defarge Does Shakespeare book and we're all into Shakespeare now.
Yes.
We need our little cups.
Yes. To be or not to be? That is the question.
To knit or not to knit. I apologize. I have a dog trying to jump up on my lap.
We're back.
Yes. And I guess it's been a productive month.
For you it has.
Yeah. There's stuff going on. Nobody joined in our contest, our thread, our modify something commercial thread, so I'm just going to close it, I guess.
Okay.
Unfortunately. I got good stuff to give away and nobody wants to have it.
Guess not. Maybe nobody was into modifying this month.
Yeah, that could be. Sometimes I think it gets to be spring and everybody just wants to be outside. They don't want to go do stuff and they don't want to be in the house.
I want to plant the garden.
Yeah, we've been doing a little bit of planting, but not a whole lot yet. It just got like super warm this week.
Yeah,
So-
it was really warm yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, we go from like 50s to
Right.
50s to 80s overnight, and we're all like, and there's nothing planted, but
Yes.
that is okay. So, well, what do you have? I feel like I'm going to monopolize the show. Should
No,
I?
that's okay. That's all right. I can talk. I haven't been super creative. I've been creative in my garden. I'm like trying to figure out where I'm putting everything. I'm moving plants. I'm always afraid to move plants. And this year I'm like, darn it, that one's too big and it's in the front. We're moving it to the back. Darn it. I actually hardly ever take out plants. I always feel like, well, they're here and they should grow.
Yeah.
And now I'm like taking things out. Hey, anybody want this? So
I did that in the front too. I ripped out a whole ton of lilies that were just being invasive.
lilies can get out of hand.
Yeah.
They're beautiful, but after a while, enough with the lilies.
They
already.
they were really taken over.
That's my problem. I took a bunch out, but then I felt bad for them because I took them all out. It's like I left a couple, and you're like, darn it! I should have stuck with it. I should have been tough.
They are pretty.
So anyway, my creativity is going into my garden, but I am working on this piece, which is I'm remaking something. Somebody bought this piece, and now it is. They must love it to death, and it's coming apart.
Aw.
And that's the downside to horsehair. It is horsehair. There's two different braids, and then there's a piece of leather. And the downside to horsehair is it is a natural fiber, and it does wear out. And if you rub it up against stuff, if you wear it every single day, eventually it's going to wear out. That's all there is to it, because that's how it's made. So I'm remaking it for this person. So I'm working on that, and I went to a class in April. It was called Forming and Shaping, and this doesn't really look like anything in particular because it was really about learning the techniques.
Okay.
So I used a saw for the first time, a jewelry saw, which I've never used before.
Cool.
And I only broke one blade, which is actually pretty amazing.
You still have all your fingers.
It's a handsaw,
Oh, okay.
but it's really easy to break the blades because the blades are really tiny. People always talk about how they break the blades
Oh.
because you have to drill a hole, because part of it was doing it this way. You have to drill a hole, you unscrew the saw, you put the slab blade through, and then screw it back on.
Oh.
It's like a jigsaw.
Oh, okay.
Not a jigsaw. Those saws that comes like this?
A bandsaw?
And then you have the little piece
yes,
there.
I know
I can't think what it's
about,
called. But and then you slide it in, and then it's just one of those things that I've sawed enough wood to know this. If you force a saw, the blade goes.
Yeah.
And when you have a big saw, it just makes that noise and bends. When you have a little saw, you snap the blade in half.
Okay.
And so you're really doing nothing but going up and down and letting the saw do the work. But
okay.
Anyway, so I sawed it up here, and I tried to curl these back, and I shaped this. So this started out as a flat square piece of metal.
Okay.
So it was a lot about learning how to do the shaping and putting these little dots in and filing and all kinds of stuff.
Cool.
So, and then torching to get the colors.
Okay.
Because this is it's called red copper. It's a brass and copper mix, and then when you fire it, the thing about firing things is, or it's also called annealing, is you don't know what color you're gonna get.
Oh, really? Interesting. Huh.
I think people who probably work it all the time understand the temperatures.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get this blue color.
Yeah.
And so you can put it in a pickle, which takes all the fire scale off, and you can scrub it back off and then fire it again. But you can overfire something, so
Okay.
or over torch it.
Yeah.
So anyway, so it was fun. It was
yeah.
It was at Bead Fest in Philadelphia, and a whole big room of vendors selling all kinds of beads. So I got some funky beads, and
Cool.
It was a fun day away.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
Did you buy? What kind of beads did you get?
it was really overwhelming because I didn't have I have so many beads. I didn't really need any.
Yeah.
So you walk in this room, and then I'm not a sparkly person. So they have all these really sparkly beads, and then they have these lights shining down on them.
Oh, yeah.
So you walk in, you're like, oh my goodness, there's all these sparkly beads, where I like muted colors,
Yeah.
and so I got some fun flowery beads and
Cool.
some cones that I needed. I need to find new cones for my earrings that I'm working on, so.
Well, it sounds like you don't really need the beads, but you get the beads anyway, and
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely
yeah.
a couple. That's what I should have brought, is all the beads that I bought.
That would be fun.
I didn't think of that.
That's okay.
Next time.
Yeah.
But you bought lots of stuff.
I did, because I went to Maryland Sheep and Wool, and I've kind of made a goal for myself this year, and I've been mostly good about it, to not buy yarn unless it's for a gift, like if I'm making something specific for somebody, or at an event. So I've gone to 2 extra events
So
this year.
now, so now you're just going to start going to events instead of yarn stores, right?
Yeah.
So really your goal this year is to go to more events.
Well,
When you're going to Chicago, Sheep and Wool, and California, Sheep and Wool.
I know, when I start going off. No, I did
Australia,
go to
Sheep and Wool.
That would be fun.
Australia, that would be, because they have a lot of sheep there.
Yeah. But I went to the New Jersey Wool Walk just briefly, it was a kind of a spur of the moment one night thing. I drove out.
So what is the Wool Walk?
The wool, it's like a yarn crawl, like shop hop.
It's a yarn crawl.
Shop hop kind of thing, where you go
Is there
from shop to shop.
alcohol? No, it's just yarn.
I think mostly just yarn. There might be some places that have some
I
wine
like the
or
name
something.
yarn crawl
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, so I did go there. I didn't bring that stuff because it was just like a spur of the moment. I only got like 2 skeins or something there, just for fun to go see some new shops. But Maryland, I had never been to before, and it's always so talked up. It's almost as big of a deal as Rhinebeck, and so I thought, well, you know what? It's 3 hours away. Let's just see if anybody wants to share a ride. So me and 2 other girls drove down for the day, and I did not do horribly. I did not go crazy, but I did get stuff I didn't need. So,
well,
so I'll
that's a
show
nice
you.
compromise.
So we're gonna jump straight into the enabling, and I'll show you. I actually got 2 bags of this because there's 2 different colors in here. I got a bag of the yellow and then a bag of this gray white.
So is this yellow what is on your spinning wheel right now?
Yeah, I pulled it out, and what I'm gonna do, because there were 2 bags, I'm spinning 2/3 to 1/3 in one strand, and then I'm going to 2-ply it, so it'll end up being a gradient. So that there'll be 2 yellows at the top, yellow and white mixed in the middle, and then just 2 whites at the end. So it'll be kind of a gradient as I'm done, and it'll be 8 ounces. These were $6 a bag,
Wow.
which is an amazing deal, you know, to get 4 ounces for $6. Normally they can range anywhere from like 25 to
Yeah, because isn't it
$40.
like $4 an ounce a lot of times?
Yeah, something like that, depending on. So this was a humongous deal, and then I paid in cash, and I got 10% more off. So I'm like, I didn't need it, but
hey, when there's a deal.
And then you can try things out that you would normally try because you're not going to lose out on it. So I got this, and it's really cool. So that's going to be fun to play with. And then I bought some Miss Babs Yowza, which is a humongous skein, in Field Mouse, which is the same color I got at Rhinebeck because one skein was not enough to make what I wanted to make. So I needed to go get a second skein.
I'm terrible with colors. You know, like if somebody, if there was an accident or something, or somebody robbed me, I'd be like, he had a green jacket and blue hair, and it would be totally wrong. Unless I commit it to memory, really, like think about it, like what color is that? I can't remember color very well.
Oh.
I'm one of those people that I'll be like, this matches, and you get home and you're like, those two things are not even close.
Yeah. Well, I figure I'm going to have to alternate skeins because I got them at 2 different events.
Right.
So they're going to be, you know, I'm sure they're going to be a little bit off from each other, but they're close enough that now I can make a more substantial item. So I got that. And then this was another like sale thing. I just found all these good sale things. This was in a half price bin.
Ooh, that's pretty colors.
Yeah. So, and I've never tried, I like to use different brands too that I've never tried. And this is called Wool Garden. It's from Good Shepherd Farm in Myerstown, Pennsylvania. So I picked up that, and I don't know what it's going to be, but it's just kind of cool. The colors I don't have. I like the orange and the pink together.
Yes. This could read late summer or fall.
Yeah.
Depending on what you put it with.
Right. So I think it'll be a little more versatile than...
It reminds me of zinnias or marigolds.
Oh, yeah. I could see that.
Zinnias are a lot these colors. Although they tend to have a little electric pink in them, but nice
Yeah,
colors.
well, you never know what's going to be inside there either, because
That's true.
sometimes there's
Electric.
little spots that you don't see until you're working on it. But I thought the colors were really cool. They kind of remind me a little bit of candy corn as well, but
I can see
not
that.
because Indian corn, not candy corn. Big difference. Big
Well,
difference
I
there.
just seen the orange and the yellow.
Never mind me.
Like
Onward.
I said, you could make this read fall, or you could make it read summer.
Yes.
Depending what you pair it with.
Yes. So zinnias or Indian corn.
I did mean zinnias.
Yes. Never mind me.
Candy corn.
Oh my gosh. All right, well, moving on. I also got this from Neighborhood Fiber Company, and this is another new to me yarn I've never tried before. It's a worsted weight, and I don't normally buy just a single skein of worsted weight, but I thought this would make a really cozy wrap of some sort for
Yeah,
the
it's
fall.
really heavy.
And there was this, excuse me, the dog apparently has something attached to its tail. It's making all kinds of noise down there. But there's a sweater on the wall, and it's one of those things as you see it, it's like, oh, I have to have that color, you know? So I went and got this. He's chasing his tail.
Well, it could get him, so gotta keep on that.
And this is the Rosemont colorway. It's kind of a grayish, bluish green. I think that's going to be my color of the year. It keeps calling to me.
Sort of like Pantone color of the year. This is Julia's color of the year.
Yes. I'm way off from the trend this year, apparently.
Yeah, isn't it something kind of burgundy-ish?
Yeah.
I can't think of what it's called though.
Marsala or something.
Yes,
like
you're right, Marsala. I kept thinking Merlot, but it's not Merlot.
No. And this is the last thing I got. I got 6 skeins of this to make a sweater. Because it was another really good deal. I found some really good stuff this week. It's a worsted fine wool. It's not superwash. It says right on there, do not agitate. So I gotta be careful with this one. But it's really soft for
When you agitate your yarn, bad things happen.
Yeah, I'm not gonna felt this one. But I like
Ooh,
the
it is
color.
soft.
It's kind of a plum. It's not going to look like it on the camera, but it's a deep plum. And
It is a pretty color.
so I'm going to make I think, just a simple cardigan out of it.
Nice.
Yeah. So the one I got at Maryland. A couple other things. I got some honey, but we've already started eating that, so I'm not going to show you. And I bought the kids some things made out of bent spoons. Because there's a spoon guy. Have you seen him at the farmer's market?
Mm-hmm.
They just love his stuff, but his stuff is much, I think he uses real silver spoons, and they're a lot more expensive. And this, I think, is probably just regular silverware, like sterling silver. And they're like, I could get 2 barrettes for $5. So I thought, I'll get them spoon stuff.
Fine.
So those were already off somewhere in my house. And I debuted my Hitafude at Maryland Sheep and Wool.
Nice.
So I'll stand up so you guys can see. This is what everybody does in all the pictures. They go.
Look at that. That's so pretty. I like it.
So yeah, I wore this for the first time, and I was stopped several times by people who informed they wanted. They literally came up and said, "Hey, can I grope you?"
Nice.
So no, it was funny, but
That's a knitter's compliment.
apparently they want to touch your sweater. So yeah, I finished this last week, and I wore it on Sunday for the first time, and it's actually very comfortable. I wasn't sure about the neckline, if I was going to like the way it laid, but I'm happy with it.
Good.
This is a medium. For those who care what size, because there's always big conversations about what size to make. And I made it from Sun Valley Fibers, merino cashmere nylon, I believe it was, and topiary. So you can make yours just like mine.
Good.
You could.
I could.
You could.
I could.
Yeah, so that's the Maryland. And it was fun. I would go again. I don't know if I'd drive like 6 hours for it, but I would go again. And especially on Saturday, because I think Saturday is much more attended than Sunday at that particular festival. So next year I'll try to go Saturday.
Attended by visitors or attended by vendors or both?
Both. There are a few vendors who are sold out by Sunday.
Oh, okay.
And I think that, I don't know if they do classes, but I felt like it was not terribly crowded, but the people that I saw there were a lot of people who would look at me as I'm knitting in line someplace and be like it was a crowd that did not seem familiar with wool and why you would want to buy it. You know, like yarn and all that. Yeah,
they were there as spectators.
Yeah, or because I guess it's a free fair versus a paid fair, so maybe a lot of people just come for the day to show their kids some sheep or whatever. And but I was surprised at the amount of people who were kind of looking at me like, "What are you doing?" You know, while I'm knitting. And I'm at a sheep and wool festival, you know. So
interesting.
But I did see some other podcasters with their spinning wheels and their some familiar people walking around. From afar.
I just had this idea that if you could make a spinning wheel that was one of those big bicycles, you could drive your bike and spin it.
Yeah.
You know the old ones with the huge wheel?
This one in her brainstorms.
I don't know where that came from, but I was thinking about how could you spin in line?
You have to have a smaller wheel inside the bigger wheel. That was an independently spinning
So you could
thing.
have a monkey in there.
Or something.
Pedaling
Get on that. You'd make $1 million if you can figure out how to coordinate biking and spinning on one machine.
But you have to have your hands to tension it.
Yeah.
Well, you could run it through, right? You could have your hand on the brake here, and you could have it running through this hand while it goes around. And through this hand, and then through.
But you still got to draw. You have to find a way to draw. A tandem bike. That would work.
Tandem bike, right?
Somebody
the
would
person
pedal
in the back.
and somebody would spin, and then you have to switch so you can get your exercise and your yarn. At
I
the
think
same
I'm going to
time.
work on the one attached to the ice cream maker first.
Did you tell me about that, or is this just something in your imagination?
No, haven't you ever seen it?
No.
If you go to the Kutztown Folk Festival, they have a guy attached to a rocking chair, and he just rocks all day, and it has like a chain attached to an ice cream machine, and then there's somebody on a bike too, where you just bike, and it spin. You know the old crank ice cream machines. Yeah, to make ice cream.
Huh.
The guy in the rocking chair kind of cracks me up though, because would you really want to rock all day?
No. That kind of defeats the purpose of the relaxing rocking for me.
Right. But anyway, I think it's more, it's a novelty really. It's funny.
Yeah.
But he does really make ice cream.
That's good.
Anyway, that was really a divergent side conversation.
So this is all my goodies. I really enjoyed Yeah, no thanks. I don't need it, but I love it.
Isn't that the truth for all of us?
Yeah.
So, what have you been working on?
All right. Well, I finished a hat. I finished one hat just because.
Just cause.
Just because. And I don't even remember what it's called. Honestly, I'll have to post it later. But it's a slouchy hat.
Nice.
It's kind of cozy. It needs to be blocked yet, so it's not quite as slouchy as it will be. And I finished the baby blanket.
Oh, that's so cute.
The modern log cabin baby blanket. It still needs to be blocked as well. I did a crochet border because I was out of the green yarn. And I wanted to make I wanted to do like a color, like do the yellow border over here and then the green border across it, you know, so that the borders were not touching the colors. It'd be green down the side and blue up here and brown at the bottom, but I didn't have enough green. So instead I did orange.
I like the orange. I think it makes it pop.
Yeah. So this is going to be blocked and folded and sent off to a recipient who's due next month or the end of this month. Very soon.
Fun.
So the baby blanket's done. And then I've been working a lot on some stuff that, one thing I can't show because it's a test knit for somebody. And then I've got a couple ideas in the works for things for me. So you guys
Fun.
can keep your eyes open for testing down the road for my patterns. And then I've been working on this in the car and everywhere because it's just super easy. So it's about double the length from last time.
Yeah. It got really long.
Yeah. And I want to go probably double this again because this is not quite as long as I want it to be.
It matches your sweater.
See, I'm just coordinated.
You are so coordinated. I think you pick a color
do it
every
on
year and you
purpose.
just don't even realize
I
it.
don't. That's why I said this is my color of the year. Last year it was magenta. The year before it was teal. I don't know why that happens, but it does. And this is my blue-green year. Because I got green and this green and this
When
green.
you have a retrospective at the museum of I was going to say modern art, but that's
No,
not the
I'm
right
not
one.
very
But
modern.
you know, when you have a retrospective at the Tate Modern or wherever you're going to have
Mhm.
it, they'll be like, "This is Julia and her colorways throughout the year." You know,
Yes.
like Van Gogh had his whatever period, and
Oh, that's my color. My magenta days.
yeah,
Magenta years. Anyway, this is getting better. It's all my sock yarn scraps. And I'm just kind of randomly, I'm pulling out colors that I think will coordinate well together and adding them on. So today, instead of a DIY, we're going to review the new cooperative press book, Defarge Does Shakespeare. They were nice to send us a copy that we can take a look at, and they've given us a copy for you guys. So we'll put up a thread, and if you're interested in the book after we're done reviewing it, sign up. And
So why on Ravelry is it
Read it.
not called a yarn instead of a thread?
that's a good question. I think a yarn is longer.
But a thread could be really long. It's a lot
You
of
ask these
yarn.
questions
Go
I
on.
don't know how to answer.
Anyway,
All right.
I'm a thinker today.
Yes.
A little bit too much. So
Sue, we're lucky that we have Sue because you used to do editing for a living, right?
Yes, I did. That doesn't mean I know anything about literature.
But you have at least an idea, like you can look at it and say,
Right,
I think
yeah.
this is set up well for reading and that kind of thing.
Right,
Whereas I can touch on the patterns and the readability of that.
Right.
So,
Exactly. So
what did you think? Because you read through it.
I found it interesting. You know, the concept is Madame Defarge, who was one of the main characters in A Tale of Two Cities.
Mm-hmm.
She's knitting the whole time during the French Revolution, and but there's a series of Madame Defarge books. I'm assuming they started with her, but
Yes.
now this one's Madame Defarge Does Shakespeare.
Right. The second one I think was a little more random in their literary characters. That people just picked ones that they liked in general. Penelope. I thought I saw. Oh, I can't remember now. But there was a couple of characters, not all from the same collection of books, but
Okay.
that were definitely. Oh, it was the Scarlet Letter.
Oh, okay.
What was her name? Hester.
Hester Prynne.
Yeah. So she had a pattern, and so they were picked from famous
So that was literary
characters. Right.
Okay.
So this one is all Shakespeare based.
Right. And so basically the premise of the books is if Madame Defarge were going to knit in this style, what would she knit?
Right.
And so in addition to just having patterns, each pattern comes with a little essay
Yes.
about it's by the person who created the pattern too, which I think is also interesting. It's not just like an essay that sort of connects to this. It's some of it is just a personal a personal reflection by the person who created the pattern. Some of it is, this is what inspired me and got me to this point. And a lot of it, they're retelling the story to a certain point.
Yeah, because then you're more familiar with why they chose that particular pattern.
It does make me want to reread Shakespeare,
Yeah.
because I haven't read it in ages.
I do enjoy Shakespeare. And I think that they did a nice job picking a number of different genres within Shakespeare. Like they had comedies, tragedies, histories. So it's not just one particular. And obviously you can be much more whimsical with something like A Midsummer Night's Dream than you could with
King Lear.
Right.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. So it's it is, I like it. It's a neat construct to bring about new patterns. It would get me to knit.
This is easy. Oh, I did do a little quick sample. My daughter's a huge reader, so I thought for her birthday I would make one of the little bags. I like that they have.
So the pattern is called? It's
Prospero's Bookmark, and it's not finished because we don't have the drawstring yet. And the concept is that you would have a book, and the book would be open. Like if you hold the book for me, for example, if the book was open, you would have this to weight down the pages so they don't flip through, and then the charm at the end of the drawstring would mark your place. So I thought that was kind of neat, and she was totally enthralled by it. She's never read Shakespeare, but she thought that was really cool that she has this very unusual bookmark that she can put her own little trinkets in.
Right. And I thought the story that went with it too was about a woman who's a knitter. She was a reader. She said when she became a knitter, she started to knit less. And then when she learned how to knit really well, and you're on autopilot, well, now I want to go back to reading.
Right.
But the book never stays open.
Right.
So that was the inspiration for it. So that sort of, that was one of the reflective pieces that was in here, and that was fun.
Yeah. I really enjoyed reading the different things that people have said. One thing we noticed as we were flipping through the book, because we have the digital version, and it does come in a paperback as well, but we'll be giving away a digital version, is when you are using your iPad, the table of contents is slightly off. And it doesn't, there is no link directly to the pattern from the table of contents. You can't just click on it and poof, it'll be there. You have to kind of scroll through. So just something to keep in mind if you're using it on an iPad, you're not going to get to the exact right place.
Because they count the cover. And
right, they cover the first couple pages.
And the first couple pages is 1, 2, rather than starting with the first page of the text.
Right.
So, but it was fun. It's a fun little idea. And, I was asking you before about what your thoughts are on, I've seen more stuff like this, like my mom had the Harry Potter Knits book. And so is that where knitting's going? What's your opinion, Julia? Tell us more.
Well, no,
the folks at home want to know.
I think, personally, I think that there's a very large library of classic patterns out there. And people are constantly trying to find ways to make them a little more exciting, a little more different, a little more modern, so that, of course, you're going to want to buy their pattern then versus somebody else's. So I think also with the popularity of things like Harry Potter, Downton Abbey, what's his name, Doctor Who, that people are kind of riding on the name and saying, well, maybe this will be a good theme, that people want to buy this because they really like that particular character. I think, though, sometimes it can be a fine line between wearability versus character, like a costume.
Right.
And I think that it's great to have a costume sometimes. It's really fun to have like something that you could wear to a costume ball, or to make you feel a little fancier. But I would have a difficult time in some cases wearing a very specific period piece
that you spend a lot of time
right.
making.
Right. So when you're looking at these things, I think that, and designing, I think that you need to be aware. The dog is here. You see his little nose. You have to be aware of how wearable is the final object.
Hi. You want to join the discussion? And so what do you think about as far as this book goes?
I've actually really liked the patterns they picked for this book. I think that they are very wearable. And in fact, there's a few of them that if I had the yarn, I would be making them now.
Nice.
I just don't have the yarn
So
yet.
this is really inspiring.
Yeah, I really like, there's a few pairs of socks that I enjoyed looking at especially. Let me see if I can find a couple I can tell you guys about here.
I read the story about, I forget his name now. Oh, those were fun.
Yeah.
Now I can't remember his name. It starts with an M. Malavolo? No.
Oh, the
yellow socks.
yes, the yellow stockings. Yeah, there was a story that really went into it was from Taming of the Shrew? No.
We'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
No,
Anyway,
it was not from Taming
it
of the
wasn't
Shrew.
that
It
one.
was from, I don't remember now.
But the idea was that the guy wore stockings that were completely the opposite of what the woman he loved would have wanted him to wear. And I ended up doing research because they said they were twice gartered and I didn't know what that meant. So then I went off looking for what does this mean, and I got a history lesson on clothing, and that was kind of cool.
Oh, fun.
But these here, just Viola stockings. I'll insert a picture so you guys can see it too, but they're really neat. They're lattice looking socks, and I just think they're really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And not too difficult. These are all labeled in their difficulty level: Liberty, Equality, and what's the third one? I know I've forgotten. But anyway, they're labeled to their difficulty level. So there's some that are certainly like this a beginner can do, no problem. And then there's some obviously you'd want to have more experience on. Liberty, Equality, and Fraternity. So that I thought was fun too. It's cute.
Yeah.
And I would definitely make Lady M's sweater, which is Lady Macbeth's sweater, and it's beautiful. It's got a really nice yoke and lace, and it's got a classic hourglass shape. I think it'd be really fun to wear. So there's definitely some patterns I think that speak to the character, but also are something that would be completely transferable into today's society.
Definitely. I think so too. Right. And the styling of them is appropriate without being too costumey.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the pictures, that it's not like, oh wow, she's got a big cloak on too, and a
Right.
pointy hat, and
Right.
thigh-high boots.
Right. Yeah, they can.
Because sometimes the ones that I think have the characters, they style them very much in that style that you can't take yourself out of that.
Right. Yeah, the shawls are very shawlish, but not over the top. Wear it in
Specific
Sherwood
to the-
Forest kind of idea.
Right. Specific to the period. Yeah.
The charts I do like. I think they're pretty easy to read. They're straightforward in the way they're written. The abbreviations are right there on the same page, so I think it would be very easy to work these patterns, whether it's digital or paper. The only thing I did notice, and of course it's because I made this, with this particular pattern there are 3 versions, but only 2 are pictured and none of them are labeled. So it's kind of a bit of a grab bag as to which one you're going to get.
It's a grab bag.
Yes. But they're small enough. They're small enough, and they're nice. They're all nice patterns. It's not like you're gonna be unhappy with your results.
Right.
So
Right.
Yeah.
So, but it's a neat book, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed reading it as a non-knitter.
that's always good. Yeah.
So it's something that you can have on your shelf
Right.
to pick up and read, and you're reading about people who are creative or readers or knitters and all those different aspects of people who are obviously like you. So
Right.
that's fun too, to meet other quirky, crazy people out there.
Right. I know. There's got to be more of us out there, right? So we'll post here our top 3, so you guys can see the ones that we like best. And again, we'll post a link in the in the show notes. You guys can leave a comment there if you're not part of Ravelry, but also a thread in the Ravelry group at Sticks and Stones podcast group. And you guys can sign up to win your very own copy.
Yeah, that would be fun. So we'll run that through the end of the month.
Yes, we can do that through the end of the month, through the end of, what is it, May? We're in May. Through the end of May. So I want to thank Cooperative Press for sending us this
Yes,
copy and for
definitely.
letting us review this book. And I wanted just to say hello. I got the chance to meet them, or a few of them anyway, at Maryland Sheep and Wool. And it
Oh,
was really
fun.
very fun to say hello and to get to see the faces behind some of the work that they've done. They've got some really interesting books out there. So go check out Cooperative Press. And again, this is Defarge Does Shakespeare, and we are Sticks and Stones.
We are Sticks and Stones.
I'm We Sheep on Ravelry.
And I'm Red Tail Designs on Facebook and other things like Twitter.
And you can catch us there in our group on Instagram, on Facebook, all over the place. So thanks for joining us today.
Thanks.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.